We're setting up in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states for a gloom and doom weekend. It's already like that now. And we've got severe weather going on over parts of the Deep South, including moi. The weather is lovely. If you want beautiful spring weather, head west and stay right where you are in your seats for the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast on this Thursday night, the 10th of April. And you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast by doing some of your Amazon shopping via our referral link that's at the top of the chat board or on the descriptor to this podcast. Just do your shopping, use the search bar, just get your stuff. Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin for sending you there. Doesn't cost you 1 extra cent out of your own pocket, and we appreciate very much those of you who have done your Amazon shopping via the referral link. Thank you. And
Yes.
yes, and a heads up to everybody, I do have severe thunderstorms all around me. It's been raining, occasional thunder. Hoping I don't lose power, but you never know. So if we disappear off the screen, that is the reason why. Okay, so just giving everybody a heads up. So, the gloom and doom has arrived for you, Mr. Rayo.
And it looks like it's going to be here at least through Saturday. I still am holding to the idea that maybe, just maybe, Sunday afternoon we may break out into some sunshine. At least I'm hoping. Maybe I'm forecasting with my heart, not with my head. But
Well,
uh,
the next
you know,
there's a cold front that's coming for Monday night and early Tuesday, and that seems to be stronger and moving faster. That might help to kick the system, the ocean system, out to the east a little bit faster. So you might have a shot.
yeah. Well, we'll see how it all plays out. But you're right. It's gloomy and it's just actually it really wasn't so bad early today. The sky was a kind of a silvery color, but at least we had some dim sunshine to enjoy, enough to cast a shadow. But once we got past noontime, that was it. And then when we got to mid to late afternoon, not rain, more like a light drizzle. And it's intensified now to a steadier light rain. And that's pretty much the story for at least the first part of tonight. And then we've got more wet weather to deal with tomorrow, probably later in the day, especially so tomorrow night, and on into at least the first part of the day on Saturday. So it don't look none too nice out there in the coming hours and coming days ahead.
And meanwhile, for those of you who want snow, you may not have to go that far away, really. The Weather Service is actually going for a few inches in northwest Connecticut, north of Route 84, and on up into the Berkshires and southern Vermont, New Hampshire, and also in parts of the Catskills. They've got some 2 to 5 inch amounts being indicated there, as well as areas up further north in the Adirondacks. Did you, obviously this is all going to be elevation driven,
Yeah, and
if it happens.
I was thinking about even mentioning a few flakes north of 84 this evening, but I don't know. A little bit more has to happen for me to actually, specifically mention the possibility of. So maybe I might do it, you know, either later tonight or tomorrow. But it doesn't look like if you're concerned that you haven't used your snow blower in a while and that you may have to, put gas in and fire it up. Unless you're located in one of those high terrain areas, I don't think you'll really have much to worry about or much to be concerned about.
Yeah, I got a message from Timothy Veltman just before the show started. He said he's had more snow in the first 10 days of April than he had for the whole, and he's up near Albany. He's had more snow in the first 10 days of April than he's had for the whole month of March.
Yeah, well, that being up at 33 or 3,400 feet above sea level will help you in that regard if you want to see the white stuff.
Well, welcome to everybody tonight on the chat board. Joe Rayo's going to be doing the radar tour tonight. So while he's getting ready, we'll give everybody on the chat board a big hello. And hope you got a nice weekend planned ahead of you because we won't be back until Sunday night at 7:35 p.m. And welcome to
And
those of you
don't,
who are, what?
I'm
What was that?
I'm just going to say, make sure you give me sharing capabilities, which I don't have right
Oh,
at
of
this moment.
course.
Yeah.
Um, uh, where was I? Oh, I was about to just say welcome to everybody on the chat board. Uh, those of you that love to lurk in the background on a nightly basis. And as I said, we're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. So we're going to be off the next 2 days unless the whole world falls apart weather-wise. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. And if you like the show, please hit the like button so that Joe and I can go into this weekend on a happy note because we feel so good when you like us. So it's all yours. Go ahead and show everybody the rain in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states, and then I'll talk about what's going on down here in northern Georgia, northern Alabama, and eastern Tennessee.
Okay, I'll do that in a moment. I'm just got to get the ability. There we go. And actually, Joe, in your honor, and since you've already mentioned the possibility that there might be a hit and we might get thrown off because you might lose power, I just thought I'd show everybody what you are looking at in your vicinity tonight. This is from Atlanta, Georgia, Peachtree City, if you will. And you could see across the upper part of Georgia.
Which is where I
So
am.
I think is the cursor approximately where you are located?
Hold on, let me see. I got to look at it on the bigger screen just a second. Where's the cursor? I can't even see that.
I'm 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 kind of like moving it. The arrows like somewhere in here in the
Okay,
extreme
yeah, you're
north.
too far northeast. So go, you see where the North Carolina Georgia state line is,
Yes.
and Tennessee? So
Yeah.
go southeast of that by about maybe 20 or 30 miles. So yeah,
Oh,
somewhere in there.
okay. All right. So you could see that there are flare-ups of orange and red, indicative of potentially heavy thunderstorm activity, with probably some vivid displays of lightning and maybe some strong gusty winds. Anyway, the northernmost part of Georgia is experiencing that type of activity right now, and will continue to do so, it looks like, for a little while. You could also see some very heavy thunderstorm activity that's rolling across the northern half of Alabama, and that is rolling on a east-southeast trajectory and may very well possibly affect the Atlanta metropolitan area sometime in the next 1 to 2 hours. So there is some active weather down over Georgia, if you will. And now we will move northward. Let's go up to the New York metropolitan area. And you can see here we have activity that's actually spreading up on a southwest to northeast trajectory. And for the most part, it's light, but in the areas of green, I would suppose there is a steady occurrence of light rain that is taking place. And again, as Joe mentioned at the top of the show, if you are elevated, if you're at least, well, I would say at least 1,000 feet or higher, you may see some wet snowflakes mixing in. And if you're way up, up in the northwest corner of Connecticut, for example, or maybe the northwestern part of New Jersey, where they're upwards to like 1,500 or even close to, in some cases, 2,000 feet, you have a better shot at seeing some of that flaky weather. And the Catskills are up here towards Sullivan County, and they too are in line because they are at altitudes above 2 and even 3,000 feet. We mentioned Chuck Cardillo, he's at 32 or 3,300 feet, so he may very well see more of the white stuff. Chuck mentioned the fact that he's seen more snow in the first 10 days of April than he did all of the month of March. It's weird, and it's kind of like it was last year. Last year, the biggest snowfall took place at the end of March and the beginning of April up across central and northern New England. And once again, it seems like everything is coming together, not in February, not in January, not even in March, but in April of all months. Any case, that's what's happening in New York. It looks like, as I noted earlier, it looks like the heaviest or steadiest rain will be in the evening tonight. I think after midnight, we'll still have precipitation, but it'll be more like mist, fog, drizzle. This is a steady round of rain that's occurring right now. And then we'll see more steadier rain later tomorrow, and especially so into tomorrow night as this disturbance, this low pressure system, passes off to our south. Let's go further south and east. Let's go down to Wrightstown, New Jersey, Philadelphia. and you can see it's kind of like a line which comes across northeastern Maryland into northernmost Delaware and into eastern or east southeastern Pennsylvania on up into the northwest corner of New Jersey, and you can see some of the activity that is occurring again in and around New York City. Then we go down further to, let's say, Washington, Sterling, Virginia, and you see that activity rolling across from western Maryland into central Maryland. And this is almost like southeastern or south central Pennsylvania, Amish country, if you will, the Harrisburg area, York, Pennsylvania. They're getting some steady light rain, even some flashes here you can see of yellow. So there may be even some light to moderate rainfall that's occurring in this zone right here. And also there's a streak of what looks to be moderate rain, again, just to the west of the Delaware border in extreme eastern sections of Maryland, and then down south of Baltimore and Washington into northern Virginia. They're getting some light, steady rainfall as well. Where else could we go, Joe?
No, I think you've pretty much covered it all.
I want to just see here. Now, let me go one more spot. Let's go up toward Buffalo, because as you can see, it is pretty solid area of light rainfall, light to maybe in some cases a few bursts of moderate rain in the Buffalo area and across the lake into the Toronto area, YYZ there. So again, everywhere you look, it seems you either have a lot of clouds or you have some light, steady precipitation, along with some patchy areas of fog as well.
Okay.
I'm
And in the meantime, I've got the Tornado HQ live updating page. This is a really cool website, by the way. It's tornadohq.com. Uh, and we, at the moment, on the live updating page, and this is as of just shy of 7:50 p.m. WCBS News Time. We are with 21 working severe thunderstorm warnings. No tornado warnings. These are all severe thunderstorm warnings. 15 of them near me. I'm 8 in Alabama, 7 in Georgia, 1 in Indiana, 1 in Kentucky, 1 in Mississippi, 1 in North Carolina, 2 in South Carolina, and 3 over in Eastern Tennessee. And I'm going to switch over to the uh, continental U.S. radar because this has got all the yellow boxes here, and you can see just how busy it is. And there are they're all pretty much bunched up. Some of them one on top of the other, but quite a concentration there that is moving through southeastern Tennessee and northern Alabama, and of course, and then across northern Georgia. A number of severe thunderstorm warnings and some stronger storms also now in western North Carolina. There's also a band in east central North Carolina, just east of Raleigh Durham, that's sliding out to the east, and some more scattered showers and storms. Actually, more patchy than scattered as you go further north into western Kentucky and also up into southern Indiana and southern Illinois. And this is the upper low and the upper trough that is dropping southeastward. Uh, a very cold, unstable air mass aloft, and not particularly warm here at the surface. I mean, it did get into the 60s here today, up by me, but it's not like we have this massive inflow of very warm tropical air coming northward out of the Gulf. This is really all about the dynamics of the upper low, the cold, unstable atmosphere, and the thunderstorms that developed with a little bit of sunshine and daytime heating this afternoon. So I have more work to do here as far as getting through all this. And meanwhile, most of the rest of the country is pretty quiet. We've got some rain and a little mountain snow going on up in parts of the Pacific Northwest. The Storm Prediction Center has 3 severe thunderstorm watches that are up at the moment, covering much of northern and even into central Georgia, central and northern Alabama, central and northern Mississippi, as these storms continue to slide to the southeast. And you can see the marginal risk area extends further north into southern Indiana, Illinois, and Missouri, just right along the Kentucky-Ohio state line and the Kentucky-West Virginia state line, and kind of curves southward from there. Now, over the next couple of days, tomorrow, with the low developing in the southern Appalachians, the risk area is going to be from southeastern Virginia southward down to through South Carolina, and then it just sort of skims coastal Georgia and amplifies a bit in northern Florida. There's a small area of 2% tornado risk being indicated in eastern North Carolina. We don't have anything on day three, which is Saturday into Sunday. And of course, with the system that's moving up the East Coast with the onshore flow and the marine air, there's no thunderstorms to worry about with that. But we do have one in the long range on day five, and this is with a weather front that's going to be moving through the Northeast probably Monday night or early Tuesday. The Storm Prediction Center has a small area of implied slight risk in southern Ohio, western West Virginia, a small portion of southwest Pennsylvania, northern Kentucky, and a small area there in southern Indiana. So we'll see what they do with this as we get closer. And as far as rainfall is concerned, or we should say precipitation, because in elevated areas up to the north and upstate New York and into Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and northern Connecticut, there might be some snow out of this. The liquid precip amounts are going to be on the order of 1.25 inches to maybe some areas of 1.5 inches over central New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania, down into Maryland. And that's how WPC sees it. And then it goes down a little bit to about 3/4 of an inch to an inch from New York City to about eastern Long Island, and picks up again for southeastern New England, where we're looking at some 1.5 inch amounts there. Across the south, from Virginia and North Carolina. In Virginia and North Carolina, it's basically a half an inch to an inch. And then further to the west, you've got some patches of a half to 3/4 that goes back into eastern Oklahoma and western Missouri. Otherwise, not really much else going on when we look at the rest of the nation. A little bit of action way up into the Pacific Northwest, but we're talking 7-day rainfall amounts under 1/4 of an inch there. So that's practically desert weather up in the Pacific Northwest. Just a review from last night. Here's what's going on in the upper atmosphere, and we're going to use the European model. And you can see this deep trough amplifying tonight from the Ohio Valley down through the south, which explains the severe weather there. And of course, the flow along the East Coast is going a little more south-southwest, and we're going to see a cutoff low that's going to try and form. Although the European now doesn't really cut it off, it just has this sort of very, you can almost imagine that there's an upper low in there, and maybe there's a small cutoff low. And it just basically slides out to the east, because if you look up in the Pacific Northwest, you've got a new shortwave that is amplifying and moving eastward. So that goes back, Joe, to what I was saying earlier, in that if the system doesn't cut off vigorously, and you've got this next shortwave already coming in, that might wind up kicking this out a little bit faster. And maybe you will see some improvement from west to east during Sunday afternoon.
Well, it'll be nice because considering the kind of day today was, considering what we're looking at for tomorrow, considering that it's going to be just as bad, if not worse, in terms of sky conditions on Saturday, by the time we get to Sunday, we could even a cameo appearance of the sun will make people jump up and down and be very happy. So we could use any kind of sunshine we can get this upcoming week. Of course, this weekend, a special weekend because Sunday is Palm Sunday for Christians, and it's also Passover this weekend as well. So the last thing you would want would be stormy. I wouldn't call this stormy weather, but dreary weather. It kind of puts a damper on the holiday, especially with Easter Sunday coming up rather late this year on the 20th of April.
We should also mention, too, we got a full moon this weekend, so there might be some coastal flooding issues at high tide in the coastal areas from southeastern New England down into Maryland, the Delmarva Peninsula, and maybe even into southeast Virginia. The deep trough, as far south as it is, means that the temperatures are going to be below average all weekend throughout much of the East Coast, particularly in the southeast, where the anomalies are going to be a bit larger. So there's chilly air that's going to be pulled down behind all of this. And then you've got this next upper low that's coming into the east, and that amplifies. So guess what? You got another shot of cold air that's going to be coming in uh, later Tuesday, and well, during Tuesday, and for Wednesday, probably have another day where you have a tough time getting above 50. And then that pulls out, and another upper low comes diving southeastward at the end of next week with another trough for Easter weekend. I mean, if this is right, you may have some issues depending on how it sets up, but you may have some issues with a cold front here late next week, and then it's going to be a chilly Easter weekend if you got a deep trough there. And then once that goes by, actually it gets a little weird because there's something that cuts off. You can see this cutoff low that drops down off of Maine and then tries to go east, and then all of a sudden it backs all the way westward to the Carolinas as ridging builds in the middle of the country. You got deep upper cutoff lows on both coasts, and kind of a big ridge there in the middle. Now, who knows how real that is, being that it's so far down the road, but I can be fairly confident, at least through the end of next week, that we're still going to be in this pattern of deep troughs coming into the eastern part of the U.S.
Okay, and you know, you look at the calendar and you say to yourself for Easter, so well, it's so late in April this year. Certainly, we don't have to worry about you know chilly temperatures or even maybe snow, but and we've have had extreme heat when we've had Easter coming that late in the calendar, but it looks like it may be something other than that. We've been talking about how April has been leaning toward below normal temperatures, and it looks like it may very well continue on that trend in time for the holiday. Not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Quiet John bangs the tip jar yet again, Joe. Thank you, Quiet John.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So here's how it looks on the surface, with this trough front, whatever you want to call it. You can see the surface low there in Kentucky and jumping around in Kentucky and Ohio. Then kind of settles down into North Carolina. The rain begins to thin out overnight, but then starts to blossom during the day tomorrow as the low forms, moves into southeast Virginia, and then goes offshore, and it pushes this area of rain northward. And it just kind of sits out there during the day, Saturday and Saturday night. But again, if we're going to have a racing trough coming out of the plains, uh, I think the European would certainly suggest that you would see some improvement. And then we've got another weather front that's approaching um, Monday night into early Tuesday with some showers and storms. Now, during the day Monday, I would think that you should warm up quite nicely, and maybe get up, well into the 60s, or might even touch 70 in some places. And then the front goes by, and then Tuesday sort of depends on the upper trough that's going to be coming through. The cold air may have to wait for the upper trough to go by. So Tuesday may not be all that cool until later in the day. But if the front does come through faster, we might have to adjust that. And then we've got this cold air here in the east. Late next week, the Europeans trying to bring a front through, looks like Thursday night, and then it does all this stuff off the East Coast where it develops a low off the North Carolina coast and then takes it up into New England and brings snow up there, believe it or not. And this would be for next Saturday. But it kind of keeps you dry. The GFS, of course, is probably going to have something different. And of course, it never disappoints, where it takes a low off one low in Ohio, another one in North Carolina. The North Carolina low takes over and explodes and runs up the eastern seaboard next Friday night and Saturday with all sorts of snow in the Hudson Valley and points northward and northeastward. and then just kind of hangs around for Saturday night into Sunday. And of course, it also has 5,000 isobars so that the wind you'll be blowing away. So, as always, Joe, some differences in how the models handle these troughs, especially the further out we go in the long range. But it is consistent with the type of pattern we've seen through the first 10 days of this month.
Yeah, and the Climate Prediction Center is indicating that in the Northeast for the period from the 16th through the 20th, and again, Easter is April 20th, so it's right in there. For that time frame, 60 to 70% probability of below normal temperatures, likely, as they're indicating right now, likely below normal. So it's looking like this could be an unseasonably chilly, if not maybe a downright cold Easter coming up, but we'll see how this all pans out. Still, we're talking what 6 to 10 days out, and a lot can happen over a span of 10 days.
All right, let's wrap up this Thursday night show with a little Briller Jeopardy, shall we?
Surely,
So, yesterday it was all about the latest measurable snow dates for a bunch of cities, and today it's about latest measurable snow dates for another bunch of cities. And we will start tonight with Detroit, Michigan, Joe. The latest they've ever seen measurable snow in Detroit, Michigan.
well, at least the one thing that you didn't do is, or the one thing that Scott did not do is he's saying it's Detroit and it's not someplace like Ann Arbor,
Right.
which it seems like there it's snowing right on into June. But let's see, what possibly could we have in Detroit? Um, God, I'll say for Detroit, I will say May 20th.
That's really close. That is really close. Um, Michael McGuire said May 19th. Mike Waterhouse Bonsai said May 17th, but Adam Lowe said May 22nd, and it's May 22nd.
Yeah, a lot of people on the chat board. William Jersey Shore April 20th. No, I don't. It's they're snowing in May, or they have snowed into May and well into May, probably in Detroit, and that is absolutely true. May 22nd. Let's give him a ring for that. May 22nd. Yay!
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Uh, Pittsburgh. How about May 15th?
No, believe it or not, it was later than that. Vincent Croce's very close at May 24th, and Michael McGuire is very, very close with May 26th. So that means, Joe, that it is Frank
May 20.
Scalera at May 25th.
Wow.
Yeah, May 25th. Louisville.
Okay. Well, I'll say April 30th. I don't think they've ever snowed in May. Now you watch. Now he's going to come back and say, "Oh yes, they did."
Oh, yes, they did.
Yeah.
May 3rd, no, Tyler Fienga, but the CWTR Shark at May 6th. May 6th.
Wow.
Okay, the next one is Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee.
Well, good God. I mean, if it snowed in Louisville in May, Nashville's not all that far away. How about May 3rd?
No, and not May 3rd. Adam Lowe at April 25th gets it, Joe. April 25th.
See? All right.
And the last one is Bismarck, North Dakota.
Is it possible that we might be talking about June?
No,
Uh,
it is a May date.
all right. Then it would have to be late. I would say, well, maybe not all that late. Bismarck, North Dakota. May May 23rd.
That's a good guess. It's close. Vincent Croce nailed it, though. Give him a ring with the bell. May
May 26th.
26th. Right.
Wow.
And the
Yeah.
bonus question is Flagstaff, Arizona.
Oh God.
Flagstaff, Arizona, Joe.
I'm trying to debate whether or not it's April or May for flags. Well, they're very elevated. I would think it would be May for them too. May 5th.
Uh, yeah, not no, much later than that.
Is it possible James Davidson is closer with June 10th?
No, no, it's a May. It is a May date. It's a May date. Let's see if anybody got it. Uh, well, Frank Scalera is close with May 31st, and Brady G111 is closer with May 30th. And Adam Lowe again tonight. It's on a hot streak with Vincent Croce, both of them May 29th. May 29th.
Wow.
So,
I think I may have mentioned the story when Renata and I went to Arizona in 1985 BC before children, and we got in our car and we started at Tucson, Arizona, down in the extreme southern end of the state, and the temperatures there were like broiling. They were in the 90s. And there's one road, I forgot what the interstate is. You can go straight north from Tucson up to Flagstaff. By the time we got to Flagstaff, the temperatures were like near 40,
yeah.
and rain was mixed with sleet. This was like in early October, I might add. So it's an amazing change of climate.
Oh, yeah. When
In
you climb a mountain, you feel the
Yeah,
difference.
yep.
I mean, I feel it here sometimes when I've driven and go into some of the areas that are even more elevated than I am. And there's a noticeable difference as you start, you climb up, even just 500 feet. There's a difference. So I'm going to share something with you, Joe, and everybody in the on the chat board and watching in the background on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast because um, we, without getting political, this is really not about it, it's not about getting political really, um, but it's more about the way people behave and just how bizarre the world is and how everybody seems to be angry at everything and everyone or anyone that doesn't agree with them. And so I just want to read some comments on a weather post. I put up my local forecast, the forecast for eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England on my website, and I put it up on Facebook. A number of you, most of you probably know that already. And I also I cut and paste a copy of that to a news app called Newsbreak, which just gathers news from all different sources all around the country, and then they, you know, direct it to however the algorithm directs it. So anyway, so I wrote in my, Joe, I'm a, 10-finger typer, and I type very, very quickly. So, and I also have a really sensitive keyboard. So sometimes I'll transpose letters and get them wrong. And then when I finish writing, I look it over, I proofread it. But, being a human being, sometimes I miss something. So and it was in the very first sentence, uh, dissent. I had put in, I thought I typed it in right, and then it came out this, I was just saying something like, gloom and doom will begin its descent. Okay.
Right.
So, it wound up spelling it, I must have spelt it wrong, as Decent instead of Descent. Okay. So somebody puts up a comment, and the comment reads, please proofread your post and correct spelling. Example, decent, SB, descent. Okay. All right. That's fine. And I wrote back, comment. I said, thank you for pointing that out. Because you're human. You miss stuff, and I don't use spell check. Okay, because that opens the door to all sorts of other problems sometimes, where it'll change a word that you had no intention of using. So I wrote back, thank you for pointing that out. It has been corrected. And I thought that was the end of it. Well, somebody else chimes in. Intelligent people can read past grammatical or misspelled words. We don't even feel the need to comment about it. Being it I'm sorry, being a grammar Nazi is actually a mental disorder. You are not a teacher. This is not school, and we are not taking a test. It has been proven that intelligent people don't even notice misspelled words because we're reading so fast and we understand what the word could be. And when we mentally put it in there, because we are intelligent people, only people who are not intelligent will point out spelling mistakes. All right. It gets better. The next one is, it's the same person, and they said, at meteorologist Joe Chaffee, are you seriously thanking a grammar Nazi? LOL. They come on to social media and correct other people's grammatical error or misspelled words just to make themselves feel better about themselves. It's actually a mental disorder. That person obviously has a mental disorder. And then he gives another comment and he says, the grammar Nazi didn't come at me in a nasty way. It isn't that big a deal for me. Mistakes happen. I'm human. Rumors to oh, that's what I wrote back. I wrote back, the grammar Nazi did not come back it, at me in a nasty way. It isn't that big a deal for me. Mistakes happen. I'm human. Rumors to the contrary. I just try to be nice. Uh, you know, it's just it's a spelling error, okay? And I sort of get the guy's point. And I'll tell you something, Joe. I have, there I make a spelling error. I have been basically burned at the stake by some people because of it. You should see some of the nasty things that people have said to me all over a misspelled word. So, I mean, it should have just ended with me responding to the person saying, thank you for pointing it out. But then somebody else had to go chime in. And look, the person who pointed it out he didn't get nasty. But I will say, I've had people I mean, really insulting and nasty and say some vicious things over a misspelled word. That is the state of affairs. That I think that sums up the state of affairs in this nation today. That you can't even misspell a word by accident without somebody wanting to have you executed.
And you want to get on to another subject. Our good friend Bill Goodman from the National Weather Service on his Facebook page posted a couple of days ago an article that under the subject politics and policy. Professor, if you read to your kids, you're unfairly
Oh, I
disadvantaging.
saw that. Actually, it wasn't. Just to be clear, because I sent him the link to that. He posted the picture, and then I found the link to it. It's not the writer of the story that says it. It's some professor named Alan Klein. Yeah, he says reading to your kids is wrong because it puts your kids it puts your kids at an advantage and other kids at a disadvantage. I read that and I just thought, the, the, you know what, Joe? I honestly believe there are people who are so desperate to get something, some sort of press, to get something to go viral, that they purposely come up with stuff that is so ridiculous that they know someone's going to write a story about it. So let me come up with some. Let me make reading, blankist something ist. Um, I refer to it for that story. I said that the person would accuse you of being a bedist, bedist, because you read to your kids because you read to your kids before bedtime. Uh, it, it's it's mind-boggling to me.
It's
And the other
mind
one,
boggling.
and one other thing, while we're on that subject, again, I don't care politically whatever side you're on. Um, and I can sort of understand it if you're, uh, uh, you put up a you put up a political post once in a while, somebody, something, you know, gnaws at your craw and you feel like you want to express yourself, so you put something up. But Joe, there are people post after post after post, 10, 12, 15 times a day, every single day. And they put up stuff that is factually wrong or twisted or something is left out or numbers or fit statistics and they're distorted to make in order for them to make the point across. And it occurred to me that um, this has really been going on since 2016. I don't care however you feel about whoever's president at any given time, but this has been going on till 2016. It's going to go on till 2028. When it ends one day, and it will, those people are going to realize that they literally wasted 12 years of their life. I mean, because you're sitting on social media all day long, posting nothing but memes. You're going to have wasted 12 years of your life. And anybody that when you get to a certain age in your 60s and you start to realize that's when you start to realize, I know I have, that, the clock is ticking. You only have so much time left. And you've literally, these people literally have wasted years of their lives spending it on social media, putting up stuff that is not going to change a single person's mind about what they feel and what they believe. I mean, that to me is tragic.
And you talk about stuff that makes no sense or is untrue. I mean, right on our own chat board, I don't know where he got this concept or whatever. William Jersey Shore making the statement on a chat board, Joe Rayo is a former hippie. I mean, where does he get come off saying that?
Well,
I
I
mean,
don't
you've
know.
known me
I
now.
don't even understand
You've
what the
known me now
point.
for over 40 years. I mean, like back in when I was in the my early
You've
20s.
always had fabulous but neatly cut hair. I've never seen you with a bun or a ponytail.
Ah,
Really.
God.
It's really pathetic. I know it really is. And I find myself, I scroll through because I'm looking to see what my friends are doing, or maybe somebody's gone fishing. One of my friends may have gone fishing or something. So I can't help but stumble on this stuff. And some of it makes me really angry because it's sort of like, I know it's factually wrong, and I have to really resist the temptation to say something because no good will come of whatever it is I'm going to say. So I don't bother. It's truly unbelievable to me, and it just goes to show how ignorant and angry uh, people are. And I've talked to friends who have, they're not talking to family members and they've lost friends along the way and all the rest of it. And it's just like, it's truly tragic. Oh, and by the way, Vincent Croce, you'll like this. I've come, it didn't take long for me to come to the conclusion of how financially ignorant most people are. Because Vincent, we used to work on Wall Street, and we've talked a couple of times, passing messages back and forth about the markets, and obviously they're front and center in the news. And this also begs to something that I've been railing about for years, that the most important survival skill that you have in your that you need to develop in your life is how to handle money, because that's what you use to do everything that you do. Okay. Uh, whether it's eating, whether it's traveling, whether it's your, a home, whatever it is. And it's not taught in schools. Uh, you're not taught about, um, well, nobody balances a checkbook anymore because nobody writes checks really, but you get the idea. So, yeah, and people are really stupid about how markets work. So that's another story for another day. Anyway, WCBS News Time, Joe, is 8:22. So you know what time that is?
Well,
That's
before anything else, I just want to show people. Here's a picture. This is taken of me and some friends up in Vermont, and this is August of 1974. I was all of 18 years old. I'm sorry, my back is to the camera. Does this look like a hippie to you, Joe?
No, you were
Give me
never a hippie, Joe.
get a load of those striped pants. That's about
No,
that's about as garish as I could possibly
right.
get
I mean,
at 18 years of age.
you should have been arrested and brought to court for wearing those pants, but for committing a fashion crime. But other than
And
that,
there's the hair. Always have had a full head of hair, but as you pointed out, never in a bun, never a ponytail, never long and scraggly, always well kept. But there you are, proof that Joe Rayo was never a hippie, especially going back. Oh my God, this is almost like 50 years ago. So
yeah.
more than 50 years ago.
Well, you've still got a massive head of hair.
Yeah, thank you.
Unlike, I'm actually even I don't have as much hair as I used to. Although I just keep it short. I don't let it grow out. As soon as it starts growing out, I get annoyed with it, so I buzz it. You know what? Just a heads up for everybody. One other heads up, and then we're going to say goodnight. The last, I think it's Sunday, April 26th, through May 4th, I'm going to be away for a week. And my intention is that unless the world comes to an end, we're going to take a break here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. So that'll be the last week of April and the first handful of days of May. So we'll remind you again as we get closer and closer to it. So on that note, um, hope everybody has a great weekend. Quiet John, thank you for hitting Super Chat tonight. Joe, have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody Sunday night at 7:35.
Have fun, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.